Well, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is Elle's Design Diary and my name is Noelle. If you're new here, if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for your support and let's get into today's video. So first I want to start off by saying congratulations, because likely if you've clicked on this video, you've landed your first user experience design interview and you are in your preparation stage and getting ready for your interview. So a huge mistake that individuals make whenever going into an interview is not having questions at the end of the interview. So there comes a point in the interview stage, specifically at the end of the interview, where the interviewer will ask if you have any questions. Most people will say, no, I don't have any questions, or no, I think you've answered everything. But little do they realize that is a huge mistake. Oftentimes when we don't have questions to ask at the end of the interview, it may make us look a little unprepared or a little less competent than we actually are. So that's why it's really important to focus your time when preparing for your interviews on not only preparing for each question, but preparing your own questions to ask to the interviewer at the end of the interview. So in addition to the interviewer wanting to ask us questions and get to know if we're a good fit for the role, we also want to ask questions to ensure that the role is a good fit for us. You don't want to be trapped in a role for months. That's not a good work-life balance. It's not conducive to your lifestyle and it's just not making you happy. So it's really important to set some time and really be intentional about the types of questions and information that you want to find out about this company and kind of some of the inside scoop that you want to get about the company when you're going into this interview. So without further ado, let's jump into the top 5 questions that I would recommend you ask at the end of your user experience design or product design interview. So question number 1 is, what does a typical week look like in this position? So the reason why I would want to ask what a typical week looks like as opposed to the typical day is because every day as a designer is different. Every day has its new challenges. And so you want to look at the week as a whole to get a bigger picture of what your day-to-day would look like as a designer in that specific role. This also gives you the opportunity to really understand your role and responsibilities, who you will work with, so who you're going to be engaging with on a day-to-day basis, whether it's marketing, your product manager, engineers, whoever it may be. And also it lets you have a little insight on how many meetings you would have per day. So this is really important and something to look out for with companies, because if they mention anything about having several meetings a day, that's a little bit of a red flag to me, because it's almost like you're not going to have time to get your work done. But I will say that you do learn to prioritize when you're in the role, and the more senior your role is, the more meetings you will have. So you'll have to learn how to better balance out getting your work done and attending your meetings. You'll have to kind of find what works best for you and find your flow in that. So that would be question number 1. The next question, question number 2, would be, how does the team work together? This is a good question because it allows you to really understand what their product development process is like, when they get designers involved, and how they engage with their designers. So if the company, you want to look out for answers where the company is focus more on gathering all the feedback from stakeholders and just telling you specifically what the design should look like without any user input or really any input from you in that actual product development process. I feel like the designer is an integral part of that process, and it's important that our voices are heard in the beginning of that process to ensure that the product is meeting that user's needs and that we're not wasting resources developing a product that's only based on those business requirements. So this shows low UX maturity, and it probably means that you will likely be doing a lot of education on this team about what your role actually is, and you'll really have to advocate for yourself really hard and strong in this role because the team is not going to have a good understanding of what a designer is supposed to do and where they're supposed to involve you in that process. So just kind of look out for those types of answers when you ask that question. So question number 3 is, how does the product management planning happen before the team begins working on a new product? really allows you to understand if this company creates a product development roadmap, who prioritizes it. It's important to understand if there's already a usability testing cadence implemented and if you'll be working and collaborating closely with UX researchers. So it's really important for designers to have that relationship with their customers and users, because we are advocating for them with this product, and we want to ensure that their voices are heard in this actual development of the product. So it's really important to find out how that product development planning process happens and if you'll be a part of that. So question number 4 is, are there any current gaps or challenges that the current team could improve upon? I think this is a great question because it really allows you as the newbie coming in or the new designer to add value to the company. So for example, if your interviewer tells you that there's a problem with communication right now, that it seems like the company's a bit siloed and everyone kind of works on their own and there's not much alignment when it comes to certain projects, well, that's your opportunity to come in and completely shift, or at least attempt to shift the way that organization is communicating or creating alignment when it comes to product development and their processes. So I think that's really important, so you can kind of come in and really show them that you could add value to their organization. So question number 5 would be, is the culture more product-led or user-led? So you really want to understand if this organization focuses on communication and feedback from users, and if they value that feedback from their users. So this is really good for you because it kind of helps you understand whether or not this is the way in which you want to work as a designer. So personally for me, I prefer to have more focus on the user and have more focus on the user feedback and using that to drive our design decisions, as opposed to just focusing on the business goals solely or just focusing on metrics solely. So I like to have a combination of both, and I think both are important in developing the best product possible. And so if a company was more focused just on the requirements and they just bring those requirements to you as the designer and expect you to make something pretty out of it, that wouldn't be as fulfilling for me, because I think that we need to go out and acquire that qualitative data from our users and really understand their needs and wants first. So if you've made it this far into the video, congratulations, because you have won a bonus question. So a question that I like to ask at the end of an interview is, what do you like most about working for this company? So I like to ask this to the interviewer just to give them the opportunity to talk about themselves a little bit, because they just spent a whole hour or however long just hearing me talk about my experience and my projects. So giving people the opportunity to talk about themselves is a great way to let them feel more comfortable around you and kind of be a little bit more personable and let them see, show their personality a little bit. This also helps you to get a feel of whether or not they are truly content and happy in their current role, and if they like what they do, and kind of how the culture of the company will be based off of their answer, or based off of their enthusiasm as they're answering the question. So you guys, that is it. Those are the top 5 questions that I would ask at the end of your product design or UX design interview. Again, I just want to reiterate the importance of asking questions to really help set you apart. You won't believe how many candidates get to the end of an interview and say that they do not have any questions, or that the questions that they had already been answered, which could be very true, but if that's the case, you still want to try to come up with something at the end just to show your interest and your passion for the role itself, and really get the opportunity to understand if this role is going to be a good fit for you. So that is all, and I really hope you guys got something out of this, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. If you need any coaching or interview prep or mock interviews or portfolio review, resume review, any of that, I'll leave a link down below where you can book a session with me, and I'd love to help you. I really, really would. I am very passionate about helping others achieve their dreams and goals, and I want to tell you guys and teach you guys all the things and tips and tricks that I wish I knew in the beginning that could have saved me a lot of time going through the interview process. And I want to help you guys get into a career that you'll love. So again, let me know and feel free to schedule a session in the link down below. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye for now.